Hi, this is Vicki. Welcome to another episode of Crafting for Fun. Today I'm going to show you how I created this little treat bag. It was made using a 1/3 of a sheet, 12 by 12 sheet of heavyweight cardstock, and then some additional scraps of colored cardstock and ribbon for embellishment. It has a cello bag on the inside that can hold treats. It stands all by itself, and it's a great project for kids' birthday parties or when you need quick table favors for a family get-together. So let me gather my supplies and I'll show you how I did this. To create this treat holder, you will need a piece of heavyweight cardstock that measures 11.5 inches long by 3.5 inches. And we're going to need to score that. That's why I have my scoring tool out. But I am also using some cardstock for embellishment. I'm using a chocolate chip colored cardstock, a red colored cardstock, and a cream colored cardstock. I'm also using some 5/8 inch satin ribbon, and to hold my treats on the inside of my treat holder I'm using a cello bag. This bag measures 3 1/8 inch by 4 1/8 inch, and it has a self-sealing mechanism at the top, but you can also use the zip top style bags that are available at some craft stores that are the same size, the 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. Either one will work fine, and they're both very inexpensive. You can generally get 80 to 100 bags for less than $2. I'm going to lay my pieces for embellishment aside, and we're going to go ahead and do some scoring. I am going to score this piece at 4 1/2 inches, 5 1/4 inches, 6 inches, and 10 1/2 inches. And that's all the scoring we're going to do. So I'm going to remove my scoring tool. And what we're going to do next is I'm going to bring my bone folder over, and I'm going to fold this piece in half. I'm going to fold it actually towards itself. Now what I'm doing is, where you have the 3 score lines very close together, the 4 1/2, 5 1/4, and 6 inch score lines, I'm taking the center one of those score lines and I'm folding my paper, or my cardstock, so that the right sides are together, and I'm going to burnish that fold very well. And I'm making sure that my sides are all lining up. Now what I'm going to do is fold the other 2 score lines back on themselves, and I'll show you what that looks like when I get it all completed here. And burnishing everything down. So when I do all that, I have my treat bag is folded so that it's like a W on the bottom. This makes it so that it can expand on the bottom to hold fatter treats, and also so that it stands up by itself. And the only other fold we have now is the top fold, the 10 1/2 inch score line. I'm just going to fold that over. And this is the point where I would take my treat bag, fill it with treats, and seal it shut and add it to my treat holder. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use tape, double-sided tape adhesive. I find that this works well enough to hold the bag in place, and generally as soon as the treat holder is received, the person opens it up and takes whatever the contents are out anyway, so it's not important that it be a super strong adhesive. I just center it up in there so that nothing's hanging out of either side, and then close the treat holder up. Now you don't have to embellish this treat holder any more than this. You could simply tie it shut or staple it shut, and that would be fine. But it looks a whole lot cuter when you add just a little bit of color for embellishment. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to take a piece of red cardstock that is 3 1/2 inches wide by 1 1/2 inches. The 3 1/2 is the width of my project, and the 1 1/2 inches is just how long I need. And I'm going to take a border punch. I'm using this Martha Stewart loopy border punch, but any border punch that you have would work just great. And I'm going to put my paper there and go ahead and punch along one of the long edges. There you go. So let me get rid of my scraps there. And now I'm going to apply some double-sided tape along the front edge of that piece, and I'm just going to apply it underneath the flap. So I'm going to open my flap up, and right there, make sure I don't cover that score line. Go ahead and add my piece. Then I'm going to look back and see if I need to trim anything. And it looks like I may have to trim just a hair off of one side. So you can do a little trim up if you need to. There we go. And now I have my treat bag my treat bag is in place and my border is on. And this is the point where I'm going to get my hole punch and I'm going to add some holes to the front of this. So let me grab my crocodile here. Oops, pardon me. So I'm going to use a crocodile, but any hole punch would work. And I'm going to just put 2 holes here so that I can thread my ribbon through. Now you could do them in the center, to the side, whatever look you like best. And then I'm just going to take a length of ribbon and I'm going to go from the back to the front. And the other side of that ribbon. And I have way more ribbon than I need here. In fact, I have probably twice as much as I need, but this is a very inexpensive ribbon, so I'm not terribly concerned about being frugal. And then I'm just going to go ahead and tie that in a bow. You could tie it in a knot, in a bow, whatever you find easiest. Oops. I don't want my tails to be too long on this. So there we go. And I'll just trim my tails. There we go. So I have a bow there. And now I just need to add a little embellishment to the front. My treat holder is already shaping up. It'll stand up by itself, and I just want to add a little zip to the front of that. So I'm going to set my treat holder aside. To decorate my project, I'm going to use a stamp set from Stampin' Up. This stamp set is called Think Happy Thoughts, and it works well because it allows me to layer up several different punches to make a really cute look without very much effort. This stamp set is probably retired now, but it's widely available on the internet, and there are also several other stamp sets that are similar to this in the Stampin' Up catalog, or you can use a stamp set that you have on hand. So what I did was I've already gone ahead and on cream colored cardstock I stamped the little flower image, and then this circle says happy birthday. So I'm going to take my 1 1/4 inch punch. I'm going to actually use this one. I'm going to I'm going to punch out that with the 1 1/4 inch punch. And then I am going to take my 1 3/8 inch punch, which is just slightly larger. I'm going to grab a scrap of chocolate chip colored cardstock here. I'm going to punch that out. And then, if you'll pardon me 1 second, I'm going to grab some red cardstock. I don't have that here handy. And I'm going to make the rest of my elements. Be right back. I have a piece of red cardstock here and my scallop circle punch. It's my 2-inch scallop circle punch from Stampin' Up. I'm going to punch one of those out. I'm going to set that punch aside, and then I have my flower image that I have already stamped using red ink, and I'm going to punch that out using a 3/4 inch circle punch. And then I just need to layer my pieces together. So I'm going to, oops, pardon me, layer my happy birthday onto my brown circle, centering that up as best I can. Then I'm going to layer my little red circle, my red flower, pardon me, in the center. I'm going to actually apply a foam dimensional on the back of my chocolate chip piece. Go ahead and put that in the center of my scallop circle there. And then I'm going to apply some tape and put that on the front of my bag. And my bag is finished. So you can see how these are quick and easy to create. If you have any questions, please email me at craftingforfun@gmail.com. Hope you enjoyed this project. Thank you.